Hi, this is Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky, back with my last plans and pans of the year. This may be a little bit long. I hope you'll be patient. Stay as long as you can, because I want to tell you about what we accomplished to end this session, what we've done both in Washington and in the district, what we might be looking forward to, the highlights, the lowlights, and the future. So I hope you'll stick with me. So I just returned from Washington, D.C., ending the session of the 117th Congress. The most important thing that we had to do was to pass the appropriations for fiscal year 2023. Now, it's important to note that actually we've already several months been into that fiscal year, but we finally got it done. And believe me, it was at the last minute, but here we are. So, there's a lot of good things. There are some things that I would like to have done differently, but we have to work with the Senate and the House, the Republicans and the Democrats to get it done. $1.7 trillion is how much it costs to run the government for this year. A lot of money. Of that enormous amount, I am very happy to say that I was able to bring back to the 9th Congressional District of Illinois over $26 million to go to community projects. That $26 million was divided among a number of very diverse and important projects in the district. A number of social service organizations that work with immigrants were able to get important funding. Mental health was given support. We were able to help homelessness. There were a couple of infrastructure projects to address a dangerous intersection that needed some upgrading, a stormwater project in one community, $2 million to get the lead out of lead pipes in Skokie, Illinois, for example. We were able to help some community centers that were particularly focusing on children. We are able to reopen the High Ridge Y and also help the Black Ensemble Theater. If you haven't been there, you definitely want to go, because they also have a lot of programs that help young people get involved in the arts. I'm pleased to say that I had a number of big successes with legislation that I sponsored, and sponsored in a bipartisan way. You know that I am the chair of a subcommittee on consumer protection and commerce, and worked very closely with not only the Democrats, but the Republicans. We passed a bill called the Informed Consumer Act, which will make sure that more of the products that are sold online are not going to be subject to fraudsters and scammers. I'm happy that that got passed with the support of the business community, the consumer advocate community, and just everyday shoppers. We're able to pass more money for the National Labor Relations Board to be able to protect the rights of workers. After many years of trying, we passed the Lymphedema Treatment Act. This will provide compression garments to be supported by Medicare, which they haven't ever been. And I'm very happy to say that we passed this Sturdy Act. Do you know that many dozens, scores of children have died over the years, and certainly have been injured as well by dressers falling on them? And again, this is a bill that I worked with the incredible parents who came and told their horror stories of losing their children, doing it so that they could prevent others from ever having that agony again. We got it passed. Another effort I worked on provides more money for the Social Security Administration. I think a lot of consumers, we would hear from them, had a hard time reaching Social Security, partly, in large part, because of the lack of people to answer the phones, to be there to provide the services. We were able to put more money in to make sure that Social Security will be there when you need it. I'm very disappointed that this legislation still includes the Hyde Amendment and the Helms Amendment. The Hyde Amendment from Henry Hyde from the state of Illinois says that no federal dollars can go for abortion funding. Helms has to do with our funding of international access to abortion from the money that the United States puts out. This is still on the agenda to make sure that reproductive rights at home and abroad will be there and available for women everywhere. So I wanted you to know that the military budget has been expanded by 10%, $797 billion more than last year. And unfortunately, it's even more than the president wanted in his budget. It's more than what the Pentagon even asked for in their recommendation. And I just feel like we have to carefully scrutinize every dollar that goes to the military. Now, there's some good things for the military, which includes raising the salaries of our armed service people, and I'm certainly in favor of that. One of the real thrills and really privileges that I feel as a member of Congress, I was there in the chamber when President Zelensky made his speech, the president of Ukraine, and not only talked about the struggles that they are having, the successes that they're having, but also the tremendous gratitude to the American people. But he pointed out that this is not charity, that a lot of that money is also security for the United States and people around the world. So in this budget, we do give another $45 billion to help Ukraine and to help them succeed and have the democracy that they want, just as we want ours. In terms of protecting our own democracy, we did pass the Electoral Count Act, which will prevent any future president or vice president to have any way to change the count that would say who is the certified president of the United States of America. Before I go on, I just want to say a note of thanks to Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro, a great friend of mine who is the chair of the Appropriations Committee, who worked literally day and night with her staff, amazing staff, to finally get the appropriations for the year done. It was really sticky, it was hard, and finally it got done. So there are tremendous unsung heroes, and I just wanted to give a shout out to Rosa. I just want you to know that this session of Congress, the 117th Congress that just ended, will go down in history as one of the most productive of any two-year sessions of Congress. We got so many things done. We passed the Infrastructure and Jobs Act that created about 10 million more jobs in the United States. Often it was green jobs, good paying jobs. During the pandemic, we were able to pass the American Rescue Plan that really saved so many families, businesses from really going under, not being able to pay the rent, put food on the table, help their children. We were able to pass the CHIPS and Science Act. CHIPS, these are the parts that go into almost everything that you need to manufacture just about anything. And you know, during that time, we did have severe supply chain problems, but I think a lot of things like the auto industry was really helped because we were able to pass this legislation to make chips manufactured here in the United States of America. We passed the Inflation Reduction Act, which has done a lot to lower the cost of health care, particularly helping seniors, beginning to have negotiation for lower drug prices. And we also were able to pass $1/3 of $1 trillion that will go to address the climate crisis, the largest investment that we have ever made in the history of our country, to make sure that our future is clean and green for our children and grandchildren. We passed the Respect for Marriage Act, a very important statement by the United States of America that same-sex marriage is legal in the United States of America, put it into law. We also have the Safe Communities Act, which is the legislation for the first time in 3 decades that begins to address gun violence. We have a lot more to do, like to pass federal legislation to enforce an assault weapons ban. Whatever we do on guns needs to be national, because otherwise these guns come across our state lines to harm us in our own communities. I wanted to let you know that not only are we working so hard in Washington, D.C. to get things done, but I have fabulous staff there and in the Congressional District, which is so important. I take great pride in the constituent service that we're able to provide in the 9th Congressional District. Modestly, I think it's the best in the country, and I think there are others who would say we do a fantastic job. Just this year alone, we were able to serve 2,700 people. That's not just the incidental phone calls we may get, questions that people need answered, but actually helping them with their everyday concerns. Just a few of those things include what we do for our seniors to make sure that we help them get the best that they can in healthcare, like their prescription drug benefits, which can be very complicated. We have helped veterans and people with the IRS, with passports, with visas, with their problems with Social Security. Over the last 2 years, my staff has been able to return or save for our constituents $2.6 million. I mean, I have the most remarkable staff that is available to everyone. You know, we never ask anyone, what party are you? It doesn't matter who you are, if you live in the district, to try and solve these problems. And these can be really life-saving problems. We have been able to unite families that have been separated by cruel immigration policy. We have been able to really save people's lives because getting them the benefits that they need, or the money that they have been denied until we got involved. So I am very proud of that, and we're going to continue to do that. I've done it every single week this year, so I'm going to end this time. Maybe one time we can drop it going forward, but COVID. And Thursday there were 3,225 new cases, 18 deaths. Still want to be careful. I want you to be healthy for this wonderful holiday season. So let me thank all of the constituents of the 9th Congressional District that I have had the pleasure of serving for many years. Some of them are no longer in my congressional district. And I want to tell you what a pleasure it has been to serve you, to meet you, to know your families, to come to your events, to just be with you. I am a people person, and you have been very, very kind to me, opening up your organizations, your homes, meeting with me in the Jewel and talking to me. So I wish you all the very best. And I want to say to the new people in the 9th Congressional District, we will be here for you just as we have always been for our constituents. We are proud to serve. It is a pleasure to be able to do what we do. I feel honored that I have the strength, because of the office that you have allowed me to have, to give back to you what you deserve. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas, a Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. I hope you'll have a lot of time to be with your family, friends, and loved ones, to be healthy and happy. So the next session of Congress is going to begin on January 3rd. It'll be interesting. You know, we have a change of leadership in the House of Representatives from Democratic leaders. I wish Nancy Pelosi, who is going to stay in the House of Representatives, all the best. Hakeem Jeffries will be our new minority leader, and we'll see who will be the new Speaker of the House. Stay tuned. Thank you for everything. Thank you for watching my video. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where my handle is @Jan Schakowsky.